I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, July the 7th, brought to you in part by Macrocin by Bimeda. Macrocin does what it's supposed to do for you, for your cattle, and most importantly for your bottom line. Pay for what you need and not for what you don't need. For more information, go to macrocin.com. Also, Joplin Regional Stockyards, for the regular sale here on Monday, feeder cattle auction, they're expecting 5,000 head. They are going to start at 6 o'clock in the morning. Joplin is celebrating today. They are celebrating their 30-year anniversary at their current location. Previously, it was downtown Joplin where they had Joplin Regional Stockyards. Decided to move out there 30 years ago. Can't believe it's already been 30 years and it's still one of the very best and biggest and most modern facilities that there is. It's hard to believe it's 30 years old. They just finished a big addition there and made it that much better. But congratulations to Joplin for 30 years and their new location there. I did talk to Jackie last week and he said they were going to have a lot of yearlings on Monday, so I'd expect a lot of straight loads of yearlings for their sale. You can check them out on DVAuction.com. Tragedy in Texas, and of course we're continuing to pray for all those people affected by that flooding there down in Kerrville, and that has just been complete devastation. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the loss of life and how much of it there was. That it's just an unprecedented rains in that area. And you know, and it was in Kerrville. That's a country town. You know, people around there are cowboys. They run cows. It's just a country town. It is in hill country, but I go down there a lot. And you know, San Antonio. It's a big city there, and Fredericksburg's fancy, and Bernie's kind of hoity-toity, but Kerrville is a country town there. And for those creeks and rivers that those people like to float down in New Braunfels and Austin and all in there, they have to have big rains in Kerrville. And man, did they get a big rain. I mean, it was just unbelievable rain. And the water that come down through there was just like a tidal wave, 30-foot tidal wave. And unfortunately, there were many people that didn't get out ahead of it, but they've got 80 people confirmed dead already in the last 3 days since that happened, and there were 41 missing, but so many of them were young girls at a camp down there, and that just tears your heart out. But they'll get through it somehow, but it's going to be a rough one there. The reopening of the Mexican border to cattle is expected to start today out in Arizona, but the announcement of it came a week ago Monday, and you know, it was a big announcement. Everybody, many groups, you know, praised it and everything. But I tell you what, it wasn't much of a treat for the Primetime Livestock Videos Big Bang sale with Joplin Regional Stockyards. That was kind of a disservice to them to announce something like that. It took the board down, the feeder board, $4 and $5 just on Tuesday, and the fat board was down $2 and $3. You know, they need to maybe think about, you know, what that's going to do when they make a big announcement like that. Make it on Monday late, and then Tuesday. And just like it's been lately, the board popped right back, but people didn't know for sure if it was. And as I was taking the online bids and broadcasting that Big Bang sale, and it was there in Pittsburgh, Kansas, it was just unfortunate there. It was good. It was really good. Everybody was happy about it. They hadn't sold yearlings like that, most of them for in their lifetime. $20 higher, really, for the most part, but still, it could have been better. It was a tick off. It was about as much off as that board was, and that wasn't fair. It would have been just about as easy to wait till Thursday to announce that, or late Wednesday, and then there would have been no sales for several days, and we could have caught back up for that. But no, it wasn't great that happened. We can't ignore the fact there is a huge power struggle going on with establishment beef. I mean, a big one, and it has to do with our industry's most popular breed association there, and it has to do with people with the environment. It has to do with Bezos and all that. And whenever the American Angus Association accepted that $4.85 million, it kind of legitimized the claim that bovines damage the environment through their methane extraction there. So wherever you're at on that, I know where I'm at. But I tell you what, there's a lot more to that, and there's going to be a lot go on. You're going to see people on Facebook picking their side there. It has a lot to do with the haves and the have-nots, and like usual, the haves are looking like they're going to come out on top. The thing about the haves is sometime in the past, either them or their forefathers had the decision-making skills to move with the times and with the industry, and it benefited them, and that's why they're the haves. Then the have-nots kind of get left out in the cold. But this whole deal has a lot to do with Big Beef's search for a way to efficiently put cow-calf production in confinement. So forever they've struggled to compete with chickens and pork because they can produce those in confinement, and there's not much competition in those industries. There still has been for beef, but this is a big move, and it all has to do with this beef on dairy. All of a sudden, as they were spending millions of dollars on research and development trying to figure out a way to confine mother cows and have them efficiently and make it work, the beef on dairy got dumped in their lap. So they can basically AI those milk cows, which they AI all the milk cows anyway, and then you've got half-breed calves that are bred to such high-powered bulls that they're solid black, and then you get those beef on dairy calves. They put them immediately on a liquid diet, and then as soon as they get them off that, they put them on a concentrated diet and then right on to feed, and they can move them through the system in a big way, and it's really fast, and there's going to be a big move over the next several years towards that, and that is going to fill the niche that they've wanted for many years. But just be paying attention to that. I want to tell you about the two video sales I was working at last week during the holiday week at the Big Bang sale, Primetime Livestock Video in Pittsburgh, Kansas there. I had a set of cattle, the Bertram cattle. There were 1,000 head of steers at White Oak, Oklahoma, to weigh 725 pounds in November. They were just basically commercial cattle, mostly black, but 1,000 head of them to weigh 725 in November, bring 370.50. That was a representative sale at the Big Bang sale, and that was awful smoky there, and they had a lot of real smoky quotes there. Now down at the Crossbell ranch, we had the Coffeyville Stockyards Blue Stem Special. That was the next evening. That was on Wednesday. Representative quote from there was the VL cattle right there in Pawhuska. They were mostly black, again pretty much commodity type cattle. 186 of those steers to weigh 8 1/4 in September, bring 346. That was a big time quote there, and they had a lot of big time quotes, and that was a well attended sale, and it was very active, and We sold up into the dark again this time, but it was good. It was a snappy sale and it was good. A sale I want you to look for also here today on Monday is Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri. They've got a big special there. It's going to be 3,500 to 4,000 head of cattle. And it's going to be most of their top fall herds in Missouri. They're going to be right off grass, and the quality is going to be unbelievable. They're going to have over 15 straight pot loads, but a lot of their best consigners there. Jared Simpson's going to have 550 head of 550 to 650 pound top quality black steers and heifers there, guys. Barry Simpson's going to have 210 mellow yellows. I love those. I like those mellow yellows, those red Angus Charolais crosses. Ooh, they make pretty calves. And they're going to be weighing 575 to 600. They're going to be steers and heifers also. Baumhauer is going to have 250, 550 to 650 pound black steers and heifers. Heilmann's going to have 60 head of blacks. They're going to weigh 900 pounds. Meaners are going to have 95 head of black steers, weigh 550. And Nagar outfit's going to have 84 head of black heifers, weigh 675. That's just a few of the consignments they're going to have at Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City on Monday. Be sure and get on DVAuction. That sale won't start till around noontime. And get on to DVAuction, view and bid that sale right there. Let's talk about your board for last week. August live cattle futures. Monday was up 57. Tuesday was the day where they come out. It was right after that Mexican border news there. It was down 312. But then Wednesday up $1.70. Thursday up another $1.60. So basically erased that, except for those that had sales during then. Friday was it was 4th of July, of course. But August live cattle futures ended the week at 214.05, up 75 cents for the week. October ended at 210.90. August feeder cattle, Monday was up 277. Tuesday down 465, and your next closest traded months were down over $5. But Wednesday come back up $3. Thursday up 47 cents. Friday was closed for the holiday. August feeder cattle ended the week at 309.50, up $1.60. September ended at 309.37. Your corn futures for December ended the week at 437. That was up 19.5. And grains made a big rebound last week during the holiday week. Beans 10.49 at the end of the week, up 21.5 cents. And a hard red winter wheat, 5.36 for September there, and that was up 20 cents a bushel. Your fat cattle trade, it's kind of hard to call there because they were trading midweek, and then that was the end of the week. But through Wednesday, which rounded up is what all we have through Wednesday at 2 o'clock, 31,600 head. Your fat steers and heifers ranged in price in your 5-area feeding region, negotiated from 220 to 234. That was 1 to 2 lower. Your weighted average on live steers was 229.17, down 34 cents. Your dress sales 365 to 372.50. That was steady to $1.50 lower. Your weighted average on dress steers was 369.29. Down 23, but as a whole, your Northern Plains market was steady to $2 lower, but the Southern Plains market was 1 to 2 higher, closing that gap a little bit, and it ended up being nearly steady. They just trade more in the Northern Plains, so that's why it was a little bit lower on the weighted average. But on Thursday, they traded some more cattle right before the 4th of July. In Iowa, they sold 2,000 head. 14,700 for the holiday week. Live sales 232 to 235. Dress sales 368 to 370. Nebraska sold just 1,400 on Thursday. 12,500 for the week. Live on Thursday was 233 to 235. Dressed was 368. Kansas sold 3,400 on Thursday, 6,900 for the week. Live sales in Kansas on Thursday, 218 to 229, which is a huge price spread, especially for the Southern Plains, but it was mostly 224 to 225. Texas sold just 100 head, 4,350 for the week, and all sales on Thursday at 224. Box beef cutout values, your weekly total there, the weighted average on your choice cuts, 393.94, down 25 cents for the week. But by the end of the week, they were a lot lower than that, almost $4 lower than the weighted average at 389.75, as they fell off hard there on Thursday. Your dressed weighted average for last week's sales was 380.73, down 16 for the week, but your late Thursday sales were $2.30 lower than that at 378.44. But on the weighted average, your choice select spread was 13.21, and all that based on 418 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter for the week, 475,000, which was pretty decent, pretty respectable. That was 23,000 more than the previous week up to that point, up through Thursday. But then, of course, you didn't have a Friday kill because it was a holiday. But it was a lot bigger than last year's holiday kill too. But they were going to have some slaughter on Friday, which would have made up for that. But we'll talk about what else is going on. Kansas Regenerative Medical Center, transform your health with stem cell therapy. They focus on arthritic and orthopedic for your joints, back, and neck. And 60% of their patients are farmers and ranchers, guys. They're the ones that need it. Check out them as an alternative to surgery at kansasrmc.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index ended the week after the holiday and through all the dead time at 312.93. That was 32 cents lower than the previous week, so not much. I mean, really pretty steady, especially after having that kind of a devastating day on Tuesday with the board down so hard. But it came back later in the week at the sales that were held. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was 311.83. Your trend through the holiday week was largely steady. Like I said, you had the big dip there on Tuesday, but it came back up and mostly erased that, even on the cash markets, mostly erased that down day there. One sale that had a sale on Tuesday was OKC West in El Reno, Oklahoma, 2,500 head. It was one day that they did have their calves and their feeders on the same day, but they just had it on Tuesday because of the holiday. They had trends of feeder cattle being unevenly steady and calves selling $2 to $7 higher on 2,500 head. It was your superior steel sales, superior standard cattle equipment's stick-out sale of the day. You look at this automated marker report through Cattle Market Central. You look at your best tested weights. There was 108 head of 5-weight steers that weighed 558 on the average. Average price $372.04 on Tuesday in El Reno. 120 head of 6-weight steers averaged $669 at $332.36. 177 head of 7-weight steers averaged $750 at $313.94. 251 head of 8-weight steers averaged $857 at $303.78. And 490 head of 9-weight steers averaged $938 at $291.36. Look at some heifers. 182 head of 4-weight heifers averaged $4.25 at $412.88. 281 head of the 5-weight heifers averaged $551 at $353.51. And your 6-weights, the 5-weights, let's see, I can't read my own writing. The 5-weights averaged $333.51, excuse me. And your 272 head of 6 weights averaged 652 at 318.53. 160 head of 8 weight heifers averaged 843 at 273.96. Give you some top quotes there from another sale that was actually held on Wednesday, one of the few sales that was held on Wednesday, and it was day 2 of the 2-day special, holiday special at Green City Livestock Marketing, and they actually had 2 top quotes. I'm going to give them to you for the Macrocin No BS top quote for the day. They had 38 steers weighed 538, bring 425 a pound, and they had 39 steers weighed 705, bring 369. And that's your feeder flash for Monday.